This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
For your information, Hazleton's own and Chicago Cubs manager Joe Maddon is inviting you to a special event this weekend. Hear his special invite next. This is FYI on SSPTV, and I'm Ken Kara. It's a hip week in Hazleton, so let's get right to it. It's not every day the Chicago Cubs manager reaches out and invites you to a special event, so listen up, Hazleton area. A few years back, the Hazleton Integration Project started an event they hope grows into a Hazleton holiday tradition. Very big week in the Hazleton area as the Hazleton Integration Project gets ready for its 4th annual holiday celebration. Enough with me. We have Hazleton's own Joe Maddon here, new manager of the Chicago Cubs, and Bob Curry, the president of the Hazleton Integration Project. And Joe, first off, I heard rumor that you, some reporters in Chicago got a beer and a shot from you. And I don't know, we were talking in the Hazleton media. We thought maybe a bottle next night or something.
I always thought it was a shot and a beer, though. So people say, I always said a shot and a beer as opposed to a beer and a shot. Okay, so let's get a shot and a beer. I tried that first press conference at the Cubby Bear, but they were all media types like you guys, and nobody wanted to drink in the afternoon while they were still working, which I kind of understand. So at some point during the season, I want to, after a big Cubs victory, walk across the street to the Cubby Bear and do it for the fans that are in the Cubby Bear at that particular time. So yeah, I did. I had a little fun with it, but it's true. It's the Hazleton way, the shot and the beer, so I wanted to throw it out there, and we're going to continue that as we move forward to the playoffs and beyond.
I thought what was interesting too, and people always get excited when you mention Hazleton, and Bob, you brought in an interesting perspective. You said the Hazleton way. What a wonderful phrase, almost even a marketing tool. You like the saying.
No, I think it's an awesome saying, and actually stay tuned. We'll be working something with the Hazleton way and tie Joe into it somehow. And but we do. We think that everything that's positive that goes on in the city, we could tag with something, hey, that's the Hazleton way, because it is. Because I think what we find is so often the small negatives, the little things, or even big things that happen that are negative, they grab all the headlines. But what about all the positive things happening in this city? And if you take a step back and you just remove yourself for a couple of minutes, you'll see there's a whole lot more good than bad in the city of Hazleton.
Last thing, and the very funny thing that happened with that, when my friends and I saw it, we all said, we do that when we go to the bar. That is the Hazleton way. Absolutely. I wanted to jump in. It's obviously a big weekend, and everyone's excited about Cal Ripken Jr. being in the area, and a lot of the other big names, Tommy Lasorda coming in for the hip banquet. But there's a big event happening on Saturday night called Hazleton Kids Have Talent at the Wiltsey Center. You were impressed with the kids' talents the past few years.
Oh, it's been outstanding. The only problem is we have not had enough people show up. It's a free event. It's at the Wiltsey Center. On maybe a 2-hour long event, anything from singing, dancing, bands, ballerinas, pianists. It's an incredible couple hours of talent, tremendous poise with our youngsters in the area. I think if you really want to get into the Christmas spirit, you come and witness this. I think we've only had maybe up to 400 people max. The building holds maybe 12 to 1,500 seats at the Wiltsey Center. So my challenge is to fill that thing up. For this coming event next Saturday night. It's for the kids once again, even including a little choir from here last year, and they were spectacular with some Christmas carols. So again, it's a free night, it's a Saturday night, it's not going to absorb your entire evening, and if you really want to get into the spirit, come support our kids. It's not just the kids from the Hip Center, it's the kids from out the greater Hazleton area and beyond. So please show up. Their kids need our support, and again, the price is right, it is free. And again, for the folks that are living locally, and for that group that is still skeptical, I really, again, challenge you to come out, at least come to our building and see what's going on here. When I drive through the city, which I did last night, before I went home, like it's nice and dark, I went up and down Broad Street. I see the significant improvement there, even into West Hazleton. I love the Christmas lights on Broad Street wrapping all the way around into West Hazleton. That looks wonderful. Beyond that, you're starting to see signs of little businesses popping up, and I'm seeing brightness starting to show. And I think I'm hearing less divisiveness and skepticism regarding both sides, because it's not just a one-way street, it works both ways. So it's starting to look like it's taking hold. But again, if you're still not on board yet, if we could get everybody pulling from the same end of the rope soon, we're going to see, like Bob had talked about, we always hear about these negatives, the squeaky wheel getting the most grease all the time. There's so many good things going on here that you need to find out about. Don't rely on that little box in your house to tell you the whole story. Get outside the house, walk down the street, meet your neighbors, shake their hand, and find out what really makes these people tick. And you're going to come away with impressed or thinking entirely differently. So I'm thinking all this stuff on my ride up and down Broad Street, through West Hazleton last night, went to dinner at the Valley Country Club the other night. We had dinner at Bellhops, then we're going to pick another spot. So,
Have you been to the Pines yet?
I have not been to the Pines. I don't want to get done. I know I'm being a little bit long-winded, but this is my opportunity. I'm telling you, man, if we start pulling from the same end of the rope, this city, I want to see nothing but positive publicity coming out of our town. And it's going to get back to that point where really all roads do lead to Hazleton, and Hazleton is at the center of everything good that comes out of it. So please, at least get out of your house and meet your neighbor. It's going to make a big difference.
So a big weekend for the big few days coming up for the Hazleton Integration Project, but remember they're always here on 4th Street and you're always welcome to come volunteer and check it out. A shot and a beer, I have to remember that. We'll preview more of HIP's 4th annual holiday celebration tomorrow on FYI. In other news, more security cameras are being installed in Hazleton. Today, FYI found crews installing a new camera near Wyoming and Green Streets. Mayor Joe Yanuzzi tells FYI that cameras are being installed in the business districts on Wyoming and Alter Streets as well. He says he is pleased to add to the current camera system. The first cameras were installed in 2011. The mayor says the latest cameras are being installed in what he called hotspots. Yanuzzi says that the new cameras are being paid for with grant money. 10 PennDOT employees and contractors have been charged in connection with an alleged overbilling scheme. The state attorney general's office says that the scheme cost Pennsylvania taxpayers at least $1.2 million. Prosecutors allege that 2 former PennDOT managers from District 6, that includes Philadelphia, took kickbacks from highway inspectors in exchange for allowing the contractors to submit fraudulent timesheets and mileage reports. A store in Drums sold one of 2 winning Pennsylvania lottery tickets from Monday's Cash 5 drawing. One ticket was sold in Cambria County, the other at the Fuel on Butler Drive in Drums. The 2 winners will split the $450,000 prize minus 25% withholding. And here's what our media partner, the Standard Speaker, is working on for tomorrow's edition. They'll have an update on the fire that killed a Freeland man last week, and you can read all about that story in Thursday's edition of the Standard Speaker. Later in sports right here on FYI, it's Dave Day. The Standard Speaker sports editor Dave Seaman is here to discuss local basketball and more. And after this break, we'll talk with a local author about her book, Winter in the Soul.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
A couple weeks ago, Tamara said to save those toilet paper rolls. She always has a project for things that we should be throwing out, I think. But anyway, we're going to use these, and we're talking about holiday decorating ideas with things that you have at home.
I saw some pretty cool things made out of them, and
Okay.
all you do is you take them and you cut them, and you can bend them and glue them any way you want.
Okay.
What I did is I made little poinsettias. Now, I didn't spray them. You can
This is almost as crafty as making moss. If you see us every Wednesday.
I didn't scare you with my moss Christmas
No, but
tree
she
yet.
told me to
okay?
save all my toilet paper rolls.
But
I have one. Finally, if you have ribbon laying around from last year, right, you can make some bows.
A lot of people don't know how to make a bow. And it's really easy. They think, how do you make those big, bouncy bows? The best thing is wire in your bow. When you go to buy, get the wire in it, because this can be squished up like this from last year, and you can just make it, pull it all out. But all you do to make a bow like that is well, this isn't very long, but I'll show you. You're just gonna take it the size you want the bow to be. And you're just gonna wrap and wrap and wrap like 6 to 8 times.
Okay.
And then you're gonna just tie it in the center.
All right.
And when you tie it in the center, it's gonna look like this.
Oh, neat.
But you're just gonna pull them out. You're gonna
so
pull
that's
them.
easy to do.
It's easy. You're just gonna pull them, and the wire, see how nice they start to just come back.
Love it.
So that's the way to make a bow. So I made these for outdoors on your deck. We put some garland out there.
I know,
And
I
then
love
we
it.
also, I put your husband to work.
We did.
I put this up.
The garland in the other room.
And then I have one more thing I repurposed that I also got at that collectibles place. And it's in your bathroom.
Nothing like TMI here on FYI. On Wednesday, we're in my bathroom of all places, and I love frogs, so you're going to see a lot of frogs. Tamara keeps telling us to save our empty toilet paper rolls, and my kids absolutely love their homework snowman, so I have to play our little... Nice. Everyone goes, but you can still decorate your bathroom.
Well, you're out of toilet paper, so what I decided to do
Mark, go to the store.
is I took an old sleigh.
Okay.
I actually reversed it around, and I cut 3 pieces of wood and laid it in there to make shelves.
Love it.
I put my little toilet paper on there and put a couple froggies around, candle, and it's just a
and
nice
voila.
It's just a nice little Christmas decoration.
Nice. Are we saving anything for next week?
Not yet.
No. Oh, we're saving jeans.
Well, I did. I had leftover jeans. A few weeks ago, I did a jean project, and I had some leftover stuff, and I had Sammy give me some more denim. So I do have one little craft because it's the new year, new goals. A big thing is organizing. So that's what
Getting
it's all about.
organized here. What tomorrow on What's the Sense?
Time now for FYI News 13 weather.
There may be some snow showers on the second night of Hanukkah in our area. Here's our local forecast from the National Weather Service. Tonight, there is a chance for snow showers mainly between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. Other than that, it'll be mostly cloudy with a low of 25. Little or no snow accumulation is expected. On the extended forecast on Thursday, a slight chance of snow showers before 11 in the morning. Mostly cloudy. Our high will be near 34 degrees. On Thursday night, mostly cloudy, low of 26. Friday, sunny. That's right, I said sun. A high of 33. Friday night, mostly cloudy with a low of 21. On Saturday, mostly cloudy. Bye-bye sun. High of 34. Saturday night, 50% chance of snow. Low of 26. On Sunday, 40% chance of snow. High of 35. And then on Sunday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 25. My wife and I spent about 10 minutes in a panic attack at the mall trying to think of gift ideas this past weekend. Let me help you so you don't end up crying in the front of Annie Ann's. Local author Jennifer Novotny has a book out called Winter in the Soul. It's won the Moonbeam Children's Book Award and has been in Amazon's top 50 bestseller list for young adult fantasy twice. I sat down with the MMI teacher to talk about Winter in the Soul. So Children's Book Award, but adults gravitating to this book. What do you think it is about it?
I think maybe because it's a simple story and, you know, a lot of the books now, like some of the ones, you know, that are being turned into movies have a lot of violence or a lot of action, and mine does have action, but it's very clean. So it's kind of universal truths that everyone can relate to. So I think that's why they're drawn to it.
Let's talk about the story a little bit. If you're going to hook people into what is the story about?
Well, it's a totally different world. There's no technology, there's no cars, anything like that. And there's different towns that represent the different seasons. So the main character lives in spring, and she's never left before. And so her father takes her on a trip to go to the summer harvest, which is the summer town. And there she meets a boy, and she has this gold locket, and her locket gets stolen. And together with this boy, Talon, they travel to the town of Winter, which is Winter in the Soul. And it's been strictly forbidden to go there. So it's kind of all the adventures that they find.
First chapter will get you, like I said, hooked because you're introduced to a lot of people and there seems to be two big finds. You find a locket, you find out about a book about Winter in the Soul as well. So very dense first chapter.
Yes, yeah. I think that fantasy has to be like that to really hook you. I think it's hard. It was hard to get all that information in the first chapter, I would say, and it took a lot of revisions to do that. But you really want to capture the essence of the world in that first chapter to hook the readers.
How have your students responded to this? Do they know about it? What are their thoughts on all this?
They're really excited. I teach creative writing at MMI, so I think those students really appreciate that I'm actually a published author and know the whole process of it. And I honestly think they trust me a little more now with it instead of me just telling them how it is. They really know that I know the publishing world. So yeah, I think they're really excited.
Where did this story come from? I mean, was this a long time in the making you had this idea? What kind of inspired the story Winter in the Soul? And that is a series.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I wanted to go into a PhD program for creative writing. This is when I was teaching at Misericordia. And I just started writing. They needed 30 pages to kind of get a sample of what I wanted to do in the program. And this story just came out. The character came out, everything. And it really wasn't planned. It just came from my imagination. So that's how it started.
And as I said, it is a series. The second book you said is coming out this summer. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. It's called Infinite Spring, and it basically picks up where the first book left off. And she's the main character, Lilica, is in Winter in the Soul, and there's a darkness overtaking their land, so it's up to her to fight this darkness. So she gets into a lot of different situations where she has to kind of be clever, and she's really independent, a little more independent in the second book.
Jennifer Novotny is married to Tim Novotny, who works here at SSPTV, and that sweet book trailer you saw in the interview was created by him. Winter in the Soul is available anywhere you can buy electronic books and will be available in print this January. Let's move on to our green screen now. Right now on FYI, your midday winning Pennsylvania lottery numbers. The daily number 541, the big four 6705, Quinto 01335, and Treasure Hunt 4, 5, 11, 20, and 22. Celebrate Dave Day next on the Sportscast.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
Happy Dave Day, everyone. I'm very happy to have Dave Seaman, the sports editor from the Standard Speaker, back with us on FYI. Dave, let's jump right into it. You had a story in the newspaper on Saturday about the history of St. Joseph's Gymnasium as MMI and Marion, the boys basketball teams, got ready to play a game there. It happened on Saturday night. Marion got the win. Now, Dave, when you were writing the story all about the history, did they talk any about the 1997 CYO championship the Holy Spirit Academy Flames won? I was a member of that team.
There was some mention of the CYO championships, and my brother also put it in his head. He played on the first Wyoming Valley Conference championship team for Hazleton, but there are a lot of great teams, a lot of great memories, a lot of great players. All the way back from the 1950s, I had email response from people who went to games then. People have called up and said how much they enjoyed the story about looking back in time. It has been, as I put in the story, a hub of activity for the Hazleton area. Tom Kostick, now the assistant principal at Holy Family Academy, was gracious enough to share some of his own memories, and he said he still sees ghosts out there of players past because he grew up in the gym, and as a lot of people in this area did. If you were a sports fan, a concert goer, anybody, it was the place to be.
It seemed like this game drew a lot of attention. Do you think it's a possibility for more to be played there now? I said, it's kind of like a Martz Hall sitting there in Luzerne County in Hazleton, or do you think every once in a while it just has something special?
I think something special. I think Marion might be onto something here. They have a connection now with Holy Family Academy, so there is a connection there for maybe Marion to have some more games there. No official information from Coach Patton about that, but that might be an option there. Playing against teams from the old Anthracite League, the Weatherlys, the Marions, might be something viable in the future.
All right, let's stay in the present for right now. The Hazleton area girls basketball team off to a fast start and a huge win over the weekend over a big-time program, State College, and it seems like Mackenzie Urey picked up right where she left off last season.
Yeah, the Hazleton area girls are off to a strong start, and Coach Gavio was flying high. He's always flying high, but he was flying more high this week than usual. As an impressive win for the Lady Cougars. You kind of had an idea that they were going to play well in that game. State College was coming off a long road trip, or a home game the day before. They had to travel 2 hours to come to Hazleton, and Coach Gavio had his team ready. I mean, more credit to them. Their press jumped on State College early. They were able to get a big lead, and more importantly, they were able to hold the lead. They were able to show their ball handling skills and their shooting skills and their defensive skills. They did a great job. State College has a player, Kyla Irvin, who's already committed to going to UConn. She's only a junior, probably have 2,000 points. She only had 2 field goals in the game. So that's a good sign for Lady Cougars that they were able to play defense, shoot the ball well, and protect the lead at home and come away with a big win.
It's a big week in the Hazleton area as Joe Madden comes home. The first time he'll be home, Dave, as you mentioned, as the Chicago Cubs manager. It's a big week for the Hazleton Integration Project as they hold their 4th annual holiday celebration. Huge fundraising effort for the Integration Project and the Hazleton One Community Center. Lots of big sports and entertainment names coming to our area. Dave, let's talk about Joe being with the Chicago Cubs now. They bring in John Lester. Before that, they bring in Joe Madden. Is there pressure on Joe to win now as compared to if he stayed with the Rays? You know, competing for division titles, maybe expectations a bit different in Tampa.
The media pressure is going to be more intense in Chicago, more than he's used to in Tampa. In Chicago, Joe embraces that. Joe's always been up to the challenge. He came out and said they want to contend for a playoff spot this year. That's not saying the Cubs are going to win this year, but Joe put it out there right away that that's his expectations, and he says if you don't have those kind of expectations, why even go to spring training? So you know Joe's going to have the team ready, whether they do or not. That's why we play the games.
And I guess Joe put the pressure on in Tampa as well. He probably wouldn't like anybody saying, hey, you know, those expectations were in Tampa, and that's probably why they had so much success there. Dave, once again, thank you for being with us. A busy week. Keep your eye open for the Standard Speaker. They'll have coverage of everything going on. It's Wednesday, and here's some delicious alliteration. It's signature steak night at Bottlenecks. All of their signature steaks are only $9.95, plus bottomless soup and salad for only $2.95.
Good evening, everyone, and here's tonight's Talk of the Town report. One announcement for this evening. The Tamaqua Area Community Theater is proudly presenting Holiday Magic, a festive cabaret. Be held Saturday, December 20th at 7 p.m. from the Tamaqua Area Community Arts Center on Pine Street. Costs just $5. For more information, please call 570-668-1192. That's tonight's Talk of the Town. News 13 would like to send sincere condolences to the family and friends of these recently departed. George Ritz of Hazel Township. Services Saturday at 10 a.m. in the St. Mary's Byzantine Catholic Church. Friends may call Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. Arrangements are under the direction of the Frank J. Bonin Funeral Home. George W. Huss Jr. of Schuylkill Haven. Friends may call Friday from 8 to 11 a.m. at the Orovitz Home for Funerals. Francis Yanarell, formerly of Hazleton. Funeral is Saturday at 10:30 a.m. from the Furo Funeral Home. Friends may call Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Phyllis A. Kakavage of Hazleton. Services were held today from the Furo Funeral Home. Carmela Rodino Farina, formerly of Hazleton. Services were held December 9th. Elizabeth Drabiak of Westchester. Arrangements will be announced by the James J. Terry Funeral Home. And Catherine Sarasaro of Drums. Services will be held Thursday at 10 a.m. from the Mayo Funeral Home in Berwick. Friends may call Thursday from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Attention pay-per-view subscribers, if you see your name right now on News 13, you'll have 13 minutes to call in and win a free movie from Service Electric Cablevision. Our winner tonight is Daniel Moran of Sugarloaf. Daniel, if you're watching, you have to call right now, 570-455-7267, extension 104.
Tomorrow we'll have more coverage of the Hazleton Integration Project's holiday celebration, plus we'll talk with members of a new semi-pro football team in the area. That's all tomorrow on FYI. Until then, take it easy, everyone.